This episode of PPC Live, the podcast, is sponsored by AdSquire. AdSquire are a small team of passionate and focused legal marketers that do what it takes to get law firms spectacular results. With the landscape always changing, they stay on top of the trends and are first to find and use new strategies to accomplish this for their clients. And so if you're a law firm, you definitely want to give them a call. They've been they've been the first to get to serve a lawyer ad on ChatGPT. And we know that even with all like the fact that it's very new, you really want to be testing some of these new strategies very early. And yeah, the AdSquire team have got inside knowledge on how to do that and have started doing that for their clients already. So if you want to have your ads showing in ChatGPT and you're a law firm, they're the ones to contact. So please go to adsquire.com to find out how much they can help you. Hello and welcome to PPC Live, the podcast. I'm your host, Anu, the founder of PPC Live. And if you're used to hearing advice from PPC experts about how to ensure we are keeping up with the ever-changing landscape, don't worry, you're still in the right place. Every week, I speak to a different PPC expert about their biggest F-up and also how they've turned things around. Today, I have the delight of speaking to Simran Harichand, who is from Hallam. And you might have remembered that agency name because we had Maddie Lightning speak on the podcast a few months ago. And yeah, she loved it so much. She suggested it to one of her colleagues. And yeah, Simran comes with such amazing energy talking about, an issue that was with changing targets, but that was at the wrong time that she forgot about, but also really what rebuilding trust with a client really means and what that looks like in practice. She gives so many fantastic advice strategically, tactically, how to use AI in the present age. And yeah, this is definitely an episode you want to pay attention to. So yeah, let's go speak to Simran. Hello, Simran. Welcome to PPC Live, the podcast.
Hi, Anu. Thank you for having me.
It's such an absolute pleasure. Like, yeah, I love that, I have what my guests have started doing, which I love is that they've come on the podcast. They've enjoyed it so much and they've, spoken to their colleagues going, oh my God, I was on this podcast. You should apply to be on the podcast because, our mutual friend is a fantastic Maddie Lightning who, also works at Hallam with you and told you about her experience. So I'm glad that she enjoyed the experience so much that, she thought you needed to be on it. And so, let me introduce our audience to you, Simran. So Simran has moved continents, and that was in the pandemic time, especially. So that is some absolute, rigor and the test of patience and pursuing what you want that she did too. And she did that to pursue an MSc in marketing from the University of Nottingham. And after graduating in 2022, she joined Hallam in their paid media team. And she currently works as a paid media lead with the aim to make the advertising industry as ethical as possible. Now, Simran might not have had too many podcasting experience, but she has several speaking experiences. So I am absolutely not nervous at all about her being on the show today. She has spoken at HeroConf twice even. She has spoken at several like Nottingham DM meetups and, events that they've had and also within like Hallam as well. And also Figaro Digital that do as well an event in London, ever so often, a few, like several times a year kind of thing. So great experience, has studied this whole crazy marketing world that we find ourselves in. But on to the fun fact, which I am really excited for her to share because this is something that is also close to my heart. Take it away, Simran, with your fun fact.
Amazing. Thanks, Anu. That was a really lovely introduction. My fun fact, I love sharing it because it always gets me this reaction, like it did with you as well, where people can't believe you've actually done it. But I adopted my cat Hazel when he was 3 months old back when I was in Pakistan. And obviously, when I moved here, there was always like this part of me where he was my cat. So 2 years into moving in the UK, I shipped him from Pakistan all the way to the UK. And he came alone in the airline hold. And I picked him up from Manchester and brought him home. And it's really funny because he was really close to my dad. But when
Oh,
he came in the carrier for an hour, he didn't even meow in the car because I think he didn't recognize where he was. He just kind of like accepted his fate. And then
okay.
after an hour, he was smelling my hand. And you could see on his face that it dawned on him that it's me. And you could see his face just go like, oh, fuck, not her. Because like he loved my dad so much that
He's
he was
like, where am I? Where am I? Oh, I'm back with her. She's back.
basically that, literally. And now he's 11 this year, so he's quite old. So he moved when he was 7. So I've had him for a while, but he settled in quite well. But I like to give this fun fact because like it's not often people do ship animals.
Just no, I have seen several like on social media people. It's mostly in the US end that I've seen, people
Yeah,
traveling, allowed to travel with their
yeah,
cat.
yeah,
And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And, I've not necessarily looked into it yet because sometimes, I'll travel for work and I'm like,
yeah,
well, I'm only away for like a few days or a few weeks. I'm
sure.
not going to like disturb my cats and,
Yeah,
for that. But I have thought of moving countries because I work for an American company. I
yeah,
literally can work anywhere
anywhere.
that I wanted to. So I'm like, but I always think, but what happens to my cat? So it's good to know if that
Possible.
actually happens, I can ship my cat. I can ship
Yeah,
my cat. I'm
you
so
can.
excited to hear that. It's just opened up a world of possibilities of like it can happen. So if you
You
guys
can
all of a
move.
sudden hear Anu has moved to Italy, don't
Yeah,
worry. Lexi has come with me.
yes.
My cat Lexi has come with me.
Oh,
She's so cute. That's fun.
it'd be so amazing.
Okay. No worries, no worries. Okay, so yeah, Simran is on our latest on a very fantastic line of, fantastic folks who have decided that they're going to be brave enough to talk about their mistakes because that's where the best learnings come from. It's not about the wins. It's not about, oh, I know that AI Max works or PMax works, so I know that smart bidding works. We want to hear the mess ups that happen till you figure it out something actually works. And because those are where some of the fun stories are. So really
Yeah.
grateful already, Simran, that you're bold enough to come on this show for us to share about this. But yeah, without further ado, take it away. What is the F up you'd like to share with us today?
Well, my F up is actually quite simple. So obviously, we pace budgets day in, day out. That's like we live and we breathe budgets. We get a budget. You have to make sure you finish. Not underspend's not good. Overspend's not good. This is actually from 2024. But essentially, we had this B2B SaaS client, and they were quite a big deal, quite a big client. So internally, very important. And I was leading their paid media. And their organic was still building up. Like there was a lot of content work to be done there. And there was a lot of like pieces of work that my colleague was doing a fantastic job, but the lead generation was happening through paid, primarily Google. So obviously there was a lot of pressure, a lot of limelight on us, and I would live and breathe their HubSpot dashboard. Even on weekends, I was checking the HubSpot
Wow.
dashboard. That's the kind of like pressure I felt to
Yeah.
to to deliver on what was
Yeah.
expected of me. And when you can do it, you've done it 100 times. You're like, of course I can do it. Anyway, it was actually the month of May. I was thinking about it when I agreed to come on the podcast, but they'd given me about a budget of 80,000 euros to spend on Google in the month of May. There was associated targets with it, blah blah. I'm checking their lead. They'd been talking about the CPA being really high. So in the middle of May, tightened their Target CPA on one of their main campaigns because I was like, great, let's just test it and see if I can bring the CPA down, keep the spend where it is. And then it got really busy with reporting in QBR. So I obviously forgot about the fact that I had made this massive change in the account. And 3 days before the month was supposed to end, which was a Friday, I looked at it and my spend had dropped so much that I would have finished the month on only 50,000 euros. That was a 30,000 underspend for a client who was messaging every single day talking about why the leads have slowed down. And when you just like want to die because you're like,
Yes.
I do this every day. I should
Yeah.
not like it's not like I'm clicked the wrong button or I did something wrong. I made an
Yeah.
active choice and I forget to look at it. And my F up
Yes.
really was just not looking at it.
Yes. Oh
And
Lord.
I can't tell you, my heart was in my throat because it's a client important to the agency. Of course, I like the client. I feel personal about my performance as well. And I just
Yeah.
stood there looking at it, and I just basically instantly loosened the Target CPA on a Friday morning. It's B2B SaaS as well. Nobody's looking on a weekend. So
Yeah.
my ship has sailed. I can't
Yeah.
push the spend any harder
Yeah.
than I can.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
loosened the target CPA. I obviously pushed the budget, but let's be honest,
You
maybe a
didn't.
grand more I spent over the weekend, not much more. And obviously, come Monday, the month is ending. And as always, I sent my update. Oh, we finished the month on this with this, blah, blah. And obviously, I had to send a message saying we finished the month on 50 grand and not 80 grand. And you can best believe the client was not happy about that.
No.
And
No.
she's lovely, by the way. Can I just add? My client, she was the marketing director at that place, so quite high up.
Okay.
But she is lovely, like
Right.
really nice, not unrealistic, not a bad client. So when she's upset, it's rational. And
Yeah.
that's when you are the problem.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
upset.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not easy that she
It's
gets annoyed,
not.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
to say, I was just like, oh my God, when you're like, this is so stupid. This is so
Yeah.
stupid. This is something that I could have easily avoided. But I
Yeah.
didn't because I didn't look at the account 12 days. And yeah, well, let's just say I sent that message. She was upset about it, but we had the monthly call and I got into that monthly call and everyone was like waiting for that moment for that call to happen for her to like just rip me a new one, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
Honestly. Yeah.
When you're like,
Yeah.
you'd go the call and you're like, I'm going to come out of here with the second asshole because
Yeah.
there's no way, there is no way that I'm going to get out of here
My God.
unsafe because they have targets and then don't hit that target and it's all my fault, me, small me. But anyway, to be fair, we logged in and obviously the first thing I did, my account director was sat next to me, the same room we were in the office, and I just logged in and I just owned it. I was like, do you know what, we all know I fucked up here. I'm sorry, this is my error. This is very much my error, and I fully appreciate that this has resulted in you not meeting your target, you having an underspend, and you having to return this money to finance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely nothing I can do. And you know
Yeah.
what? She was so reasonable about it. She was just like, yeah, that's fine. Because I think
Wow.
because she saw that I was not trying to hide it. I was not trying to
Yeah.
lie about it. I wasn't trying to say, oh, no, it's Google's fault.
Yeah.
And what that means. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not. It
Yeah.
was my fault.
Yeah.
And she was very reasonable about it.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, it was really, really eye-opening,
Yeah.
let's just say. But when you come out of something like this and you kind of know that what you've done is you've sort of broken that little bit of trust that the client
Mm.
had with you because you
Mhm.
kind of didn't take their
Mhm.
account personally. So basically, after that, I just started sending them a budget update every Friday. Every Friday, hi, we're 5% through the month, you're 5% through your budget. We're 10% through the month, you're 12% through your budget. And so after
Nice.
doing that for like 2-3 months, they just stopped asking and the trust was like back.
Nice.
Do you know what I
Nice.
mean?
Yes.
Because then they knew that I knew that I fucked up. I
Yeah.
learned from my
Yeah.
mistake and I was gonna just look at it more closely now because I knew that a boss fuck up like that is possible. So quite frankly, I didn't come out of it scathed, but even though everyone learns that lesson quite early in their career, it's like I relearned how important it is to
Yes.
monitor a change that you make in the account and then
Yes.
look at it for at least a week.
Yes, yes. I think, like, thank you. And you did exactly what I asked because I feel like you answered like maybe 4 or 5 questions in
Yeah,
there. We went through the what the fuck up is. We went
yeah.
through the how did
How
you
to fix
feel
it.
about it. You went through the whole of what the client
Yeah,
was like. You've given me your learnings. You've given me
yeah,
what you do
yeah,
differently. And I think it's really important for people to really hear that whole because one
yeah.
can be like, don't sit in the whole moment because we've said that in past episode. Don't sit in the whole moment of your
No,
mistake and
no.
wallow. Like how you actually, turn things around is
Yeah,
actually going to be noticed.
yeah.
And you've just given a very fantastic example of what that actually means. Because as much as the client was nice about it, didn't really quite rip you a new one,
True.
you
Yeah,
know, the trust level had kind of dwindled, whether you like
yeah,
it or not, whether like,
yeah.
yeah, we're not going to fire you, but
No.
still we're like, all right, we need to keep an eye on you closely
Yes,
now
yes.
because people don't like to be micromanaged. People
No.
will be like, I don't want to be micromanaged, but it's when you do things like this that cause
People to
micromanaging,
micromanage you.
you know,
Absolutely.
and because they're like, the trust is gone. And the way to actually gain it back, you just think ahead. Like if someone doesn't trust me, what do I
What
need
do I
to
do?
do to regain that?
Yeah,
And you did that.
Yeah.
And I think what some people don't even realize as well, when I used to work at agencies, that whole underspend has a multiple of reasons, have
Yeah.
a multiple of, effects
Yes.
for the client themselves. It's not just about the underspend and less
Yeah.
leads. All of these marketing directors, they're going to the CFO
Yeah.
trying to pitch for this is how much we need. This is how
Yes.
much we can do. So even if you like, let's say, funny thing that even reminds me of from my agency time, where even if we'd hit our target and we are, let's say, 60% of the way of the budget or
Yeah.
something, and we hit our target, the client will be like, keep going, keep going. And they'll be like, and we go, but we can't, and they're like, okay, spend it on something else.
As
Because the argument is they didn't want the next year, the
have less
CFO to be
budget.
like, oh, you need less. You didn't spend your whole budget. So clearly you don't need as much. So that's what some agencies people don't really
Yeah.
pay attention to. So yeah, I really want our listeners to pick up on the fact of like that underspend. Because one might think, well, it's an underspend. It's not like if there's an overspend and I needed to, refund money. It's an
Yeah. But
underspend. How big a deal is an underspend? An underspend can be a big deal.
you took the words out of, and that's actually one of the things that the client had said in that moment as well, that if you don't spend it, we lose it.
Yeah.
You take it or you don't get it. You can't use it next month. You can't use it in the gone month. It's now. If you don't want to spend it, you don't get it. And then don't come to me saying you need more budget because when I gave it to you, you didn't spend it.
You didn't use it.
And it's true, isn't it? And sometimes maybe, and obviously we're talking in Google, but like sometimes the account has maxed out. You have to make a significant change. Maybe you need to add a new campaign, maybe not a new campaign type. But it's all about communicating to the client and telling them when they're hitting that diminishing returns. If you let them know we've hit 50K, you can push harder. It's gonna give you nothing. I propose we put it here and just give them an alternate of where that budget can go to be spent, instead of like feeling like you're blocked. I feel
Yeah.
like clients are quite receptive
Yes.
to solutions if you go with one. If you just go with a problem, then of course you're going to get blocked. But if you go with a solution, it just takes the thinking away from them. They don't have to think about, oh my God, what do I do? You've given them the projection, you've given them the solution. All they have to say is yes or no, go. Especially if they're that senior, like a marketing director. If they had a marketing team where they had another paid person, they needed granularity, maybe they would need more thinking time. But a marketing director has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
They just want you to just tell them
Yeah. Just
and
tell
just
them
go
like
away.
where the money
Yeah,
should go,
yeah,
where they'll
yeah.
get, they'll
What
make
they
up
get
for
out of
the
it,
leave.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And it's important, yeah, that we said in the previous episodes, it's really important that you get to speak to the decision makers.
absolutely.
Know who your contact is, and make sure that make sure the information that they need
Yeah,
from you.
yeah.
Because sometimes you're speaking granular work to a CMO who doesn't
And then they don't,
care.
yeah,
Or you get very you get very high level to somebody who actually wants to understand the
yeah,
mechanics of what you're
yes,
doing. Know who your contact is.
absolutely. Especially like obviously we're diverting a little bit, but it's also very true for pitching. When you're pitching for new work as an agency,
Yeah.
you need to know who's going to be in the room to be able to touch those points because that just remains true no matter. Even if you work in house, you'll have so many different stakeholders that you need to present that same information to. You need to know who your audience is.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
you
it's
just,
always important that like because yeah, that pitching thing is a very important thing. I'd always advise people if you're about to pitch and you're not sure of who's going to be in the room, ask them for the names,
ask.
and
Yeah.
then maybe go on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn to figure out what the titles are, what their titles are, so that you're like, oh, okay, it's going to be the CMO and maybe the CFO and like
Yeah.
a head of digital
Yeah.
person there.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
then work
Yeah.
out, whether you're going
Yeah.
to be very much more on the numbers or whether
Yeah.
you're much be more on the creative and that kind of stuff with your page because you
Yeah.
want to make sure the audience is going to get.
100%. It's so easy to snoop now because you've got LinkedIn. I mean, I
Oh
remember
my
back
God,
when I
yes.
finished my undergrad and I had to do interviews, I would always have to email the HR person and be like, can I please know who will be on my panel? Just so that you
Okay.
can prepare for the interview as to who's it
Yeah.
going to be, who are you going to talk to? And back then, all you got was a name and a title. You couldn't find anything. And
No.
now everyone has LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Yeah.
LinkedIn. It's so easy to snoop. So
Absolutely.
take
That's
advantage
but
of it.
you know what, Simran, that's actually such a very clever thing to have done that because I don't think even I did that. I didn't do the whole or even ask a HR person what's the name of the person that's going to be in the room. I never even used to do that. I'd
Yeah.
just be like, Let me hope I do all my prep. And I know my stuff. And my brain, like, I know my
Yes.
stuff. Like, of course,
Yeah.
I'm going to nail this
Yeah.
interview. And then, you go in there, you're like, "Ooh, okay, this is not who I was expecting."
That's the thing, because everyone has a different formula of what the recruitment stage looks like.
Yeah,
Because obviously some companies would like have two interviews, one with your line manager, one with the CEO done. The one that I ended up working with back in Pakistan, they had like 4 rounds, and every round it's a different person. You're like, I'm obviously not going to say the same thing 4 times. There are
yeah,
4 different people who want to hear four
yeah,
different things about me,
yeah.
so I need to know who they are to be
Yeah,
able to tell them what they're
absolutely.
looking to know.
Absolutely. But we
Yeah.
can do a whole episode and series on how bad the interview processes can be and how like paid search jobs, some of the roles, especially the junior roles, doesn't need to go through 4 stages. It really
No,
doesn't. The way like
no.
and they'll be like, do this task, do this, write this essay, put this strategy together, do a
Yeah.
presentation. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Are you kidding me? For
Yeah.
anything that's a salary of 40K or below, you shouldn't
Yeah.
need to do
Should not
that.
be. Yeah. And truthfully told, not to again, I appreciate this podcast is far away from bragging, but I actually joined Harlem as an intern. I
Sure?
joined as an intern in the strategy department in November 2021, and I didn't know a word of paid. I was doing a master's in marketing, but let's be real. Education systems don't tell you anything about the advertising industry.
No.
Not on ground reality. You don't know anything. I think the word SEO and SEM is thrown around twice on a page, and that's it. That's the best you get out of it. And so when I joined Hallam and I was finishing my thesis and ready to be hired and basically enter the employment force, they had an opening in their paid department. And they basically hired me, completely junior, complete a specialist level hire, just because I like numbers. They were like, "You like numbers. You seem like the kind of person who'll learn on the job. Let's go." Now I'm a lead 4.5 years later. And it's just that if you take the time to train people who come in without making them jump through 50,000 rings of this task, this task, this task, this task, you're kind of losing out on people who have the soft skills to talk to clients and soft skills, the ambition to learn on the job.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just those are soft skills you can't teach or
No,
gauge.
no, no,
You can't do
absolutely
it.
no, absolutely. So I'm gonna kind of bring us back into our
Yes,
conversation. And
sorry,
no,
we've gone so far away.
I totally understand. I'm the one that pushed it even there a little bit, so it's my fault as well.
Absolutely.
But I do want to, yeah, let's bring us back to like,
Yeah,
this underspend that you did and your clients, yeah, being, being okay with it, but also you knowing that you had to build your
yeah,
trust
yeah.
from it. So like, even like going back to the mistake itself, like, what do you think that you missed? You feel like you missed, that caused the error, that if you looked back, if you had done that differently, that error wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I think there's certain things you do in accounts that you know are big changes and certain things that you know are small changes. Like if I change the budget from 15 to 10, I know it's a really small change. Nothing major is going to happen on the back of it. And I think the quite big mistake was my perception that the CPA that I had tightened was not a big change. If I knew that it was something that was going to have a massive impact on the account, I would
Yeah.
have monitored it like a campaign launch. I monitor it every day for a week because it's new,
Yeah.
or if I'm suddenly upping the budget by double overnight, then I'm going to look at that account like a hawk. But
Yeah.
with the Target CPA, I think in my brain, I was just like, oh, I've just made a small change. What could
Yeah.
happen? And then I
Yeah.
forgot about it. And I think that's if I just like stopped to think that I'm making a really, it might be a button click, but it's actually a massive change on the account,
Yes.
I would have probably gone and looked at it a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like and it's not just about how easy the thing it is to do, it's about what it will affect. You're changing CPA target, that is gonna affect spend.
Spend, basically, it's a
So
spend leader.
yeah, it's a spend lever. So anything that's a spend lever, yeah,
Yeah,
keep
yes,
an eye, a closer
yeah,
eye on it
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, make sure
yeah,
that doesn't work. So like how in terms of a process of mindset, what did that experience teach you about, how you deal with targets, how you deal with account budgets now?
yeah. To be honest with you, one of the main things that it did for me was this idea of how important it is to do the brilliant basics.
Yeah.
We get clients. oh, you need to launch a campaign in 3 days, you get to do this. And that's what happened, right? When I'd made the change, normally I would have looked at it, but I had 50 clients screaming 50 different things. I was like, all right,
Mhm.
this change is not big enough. I'm just going to do the campaign build and the campaign launch and the creative brief and so on and so forth. And when you do all of that stuff, and if your foundation is not strong, you will crumble. And it's back to the brilliant basics, how important it is to look at your budget pacing, how important it is to open the account every day to make sure your tracking is working, how important. And that's obviously a part of budgets, and target CPAs are a part of it, of like monitoring your account. And I
Yeah.
think we sometimes forget that the job is more than just launching and the big shiny things. The job
Yeah.
is to make sure that your account is running where your budget is pacing as you want, your targets are where you want, your conversions are coming, your tracking is working, your landing
Yeah.
pages are fine, nothing is disapproved, like the absolute basic. And it was just such a big reminder that no matter how farther in your career you go within paid, your success will completely be imminent on how brilliant you are at your basics.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
sort of the mindset shift that happened because obviously when you're growing, because I was a consultant then, you're in that mid level of, oh, I'm not a junior anymore, but I'm not fully senior. So you're like trying everything you can to do all the big things and the media planning and this and that so that you have a progression. But then you have to remember not to forget the absolute basics of the job,
Absolutely.
which was quite
Absolutely.
frankly the main thing.
Yeah, yeah. So from then on, it was literally like reminding yourself about the basics are as
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
as the big shiny.
Yeah, and I'm still the
Absolutely.
same right now. It really hasn't left me because I feel okay telling a client, I'm so sorry, I can't meet this deadline because I know
Nice.
that I'd rather block out my Friday to check all my clients' budgets and make sure their performance is working and make sure they're on target than build another campaign because it won't benefit. If you add shit to shit, it's just going to be shit,
Right.
basically.
Yep.
You can launch 50 campaigns, but if your account's not working, your campaign's not going to work. But if I just spend the time to clean out your shit, make it fresh, and then build for your Monday, nobody's going to die.
Nah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, you just have to have that mindset. I think we're really afraid to say no to clients,
Mm.
which is also like another sort of area, which is why you almost try to hide your fuck up, won't you? Because you're
Yeah.
so afraid of disappointing a client
Yeah.
that you almost
Yeah.
won't be honest about where
Mm.
you fucked up.
Yeah.
So it was just some of those few job life lessons that came on the back of that
Nice.
very big
Nice.
F
Amazing.
up.
And if someone literally has just seen that, yeah, they've just they changed made a CPA target change. It's a Friday. It's 2 days before the month is over. They are going to come in like maybe 60% short of the budget target. What's your advice to them?
My advice to them is to take a moment and reflect that this is an error you have made, and there's no shame about it. Everyone makes it, from your CEO to your exec, everyone will have fucked up in their job. So you're not alone in it. So it's okay to feel guilty and it's good to take accountability. Don't push it on other people, but just know that it's not the end of the world. I would say, see what you can do in the account. Is there any campaign that has the capacity to spend and you can push it a bit further? Do it. But more than anything else, don't lie.
Mm,
Come clean. The truth will come out. Always does.
yeah.
If not now, in 2 months, people will realize it was a change you made. Somebody else will come in. They will do an account audit. They'll know exactly what caused it. Come clean. Your internal resource, tell your manager. They'll have your back. I'm sure if you work in a good culture, your manager will have your back.
Yes.
I know it's
Yes.
not true for every company, but if you're in a
Yeah.
good company, hopefully your manager will have your back. Tell
Yeah.
the client and then do the work of rebuilding that trust.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
hide away from it, and you have to face your consequences. And I always say to people, 50% of your job is performance, but the other 50% is your relationship with your client. This
Mm,
fuck up won't feel as bad if you have a good relationship with a client. If the client knows that you work hard on their account, you always have their best interest, you're always recommending good things for their account, there will be space for your fuck up.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you never put in the work to have a good relationship with your client, it's only so far you can go with good performance because it
Yeah.
ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
This is one fuck up. You can make another fuck up. Sometimes you don't fuck up and the performance is bad because that's what
Yeah.
industries are.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
And they
can't
blame you
change
for
that.
that, and they blame for you for
They
things
do.
that are not your fault, and you're
Yeah,
like, "Why?" But if you build a good relationship,
relationship.
they'll
You can fail.
understand.
Yeah, so I know it's if you fucked up now, I suppose one of the big lessons is that every other client you have, build a relationship. Ask them
Yeah,
about how they are. Ask them what the business goes. How their life's going. I mean,
yeah.
I have a client I used to get on a call with, and we used to spend 15% talking about how we both thought Scottish men are hot. Is this relevant to the job? No. But you know what I mean? It humanizes both of
Yeah.
us. It
Yes.
humanizes that she's the head of sales and marketing, and I am paid media lead, and we live in very different parts of the UK, but we still like and enjoy Scottish men in this context. But do you know what I mean?
Any Scottish man listening to this is going, eyes are going, I like this lady. I like this episode very much.
But just put the effort to get to know your client, and it will give you such a big buffer when you
Yeah,
ultimately fuck up.
yeah,
Everyone fucks up.
yeah, yeah. Look, Simran, that has been a really fantastic, summation of like that story. You've given us so much great like feedback and lessons to leave people with. And you know what? Now, I said that it was going to be half an hour, but we have time for, let's talk
Absolutely.
about other people and other things
Sure.
that you've experienced, maybe accounts that you've won that, you guys have
Yeah.
inherited, and you've looked at some of your auditing, like what should you change? And you're like, wow, this is that previous agency did bad for these guys. We don't need to call any names, but just in
Gotcha.
terms
Yeah.
of like what you've
Yeah.
seen happen and F-ups that are happening, mistakes that are happening that you're surprised with. And it doesn't have to be a big one, but like your favorite one to see that really just goes, oh God, why are people doing this?
I will always die on the hill that if your tracking is shit, you can't get anything done.
Yeah.
That is, this is an account I was looking at. We won their paid pitch like a year ago. And when I looked into their GA4, they were tracking the same form with 4 different key events, all all events set to key. And so basically for all their time, they were like quadruple reporting the number of forms.
Lord.
And
Okay.
I looked at it and I was like, when you're looking at it and it's like contact form version 1, version 2, version 3. So initially I thought maybe there are 4 different forms that they're
Wrong.
tracking separately. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked at their setup and I was like,
Oh, it's the
that is
same
the same
form.
form. And this is also like it gives me the absolute ick in the marketing
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
of why do you in today's day and age, why do you rely on just GA4 to tell you success? Where is your CRM? Where is the data that's coming in? Where is how can you not know your own leads and numbers and what's coming from where?
The accounts.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. We're in 2026. Attribution doesn't work. People are talking to ChatGPT before they're doing a Google search. We're all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if your single source of truth is just GA4 without any integration with your CRM, then you're only looking at half the picture.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I just
Can I
hate it.
say for a second, you gave mom vibes? You gave like mom scolding the child, like, what are you doing? How can you not be doing? And I just absolutely, chef's
Can you
kiss.
tell I have cats and I
Yeah,
think that they're my children? Like both my cats are my children. And that's how I talk to them.
like, what are you doing? Are you kidding me? I love I hope for those who are only listening to this, you guys need to go and check out this video
I
on YouTube because Simran gave like the physical reaction. Even if you think your conversion is tracking is working well, you are going to be inspired to go and double check. You'll be inspired to double check unless Simran is gonna come with her whip going, what do you think you're
know.
doing? Why? Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why? The
Because
people
I
come
think
to
because
audit.
you're right. People do the whole GFO is so hard, and and so that's why they give themselves the excuse
Yeah.
of it not working.
Yeah.
But GFO is not the holy grail.
It's
GFO is
not.
not the only source of truth
No,
that you can
it's not.
have.
No.
So yeah,
Absolutely. Just use you have to think more holistically now because even if
more than
cookies were
ever.
not an issue, even if attribution was not an issue from a, consent point of view, people don't search in a linear way. Like they don't. We talk to ChatGPT, then we look at AI mode, then we go and talk to a friend, and then somebody tells us something by word of mouth, and then we find something else altogether, even though originally this was started from ChatGPT, but no one's going to tell you that it came from ChatGPT. Holistic mindsets. We need to stop working in these silos of you are paid, you are SEO, you are content, you are PR. We are all one now.
Yeah, it shows how the T-shaped markets are like, yeah,
Yeah.
be specialized in what you're doing, but
Yeah.
make sure that you're aware
Yes.
of all the
Of
things that can
everything
affect
else.
you. In fact, when you were even starting your story, when you were saying something like, oh yeah, all the leads generation
Yeah.
was
From paid.
being down to PPC, I was a bit nervous about that. And I was like, but how about everyone else? Is everyone else doing what everyone else needs to be doing
Yeah.
so that you can really trust that, you're
Yeah.
driving, you're doing the demand generation. And that
Yes.
means that the people will know to do a search and purchase through you. So
Tell me about it.
yeah,
Exactly. It's just like I won't magically generate demand. I will only harvest it through Google. But if you're not doing your PR and you're not doing your content and you're not doing your organic blogs and resource hubs, there's only so much I can do for you
yeah, yeah,
from that front.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, let's divert into like you've been talking about AI. I'm very
Yeah.
impressed. It's taken us 33 minutes. We've not even mentioned the AI word. But yeah, what's your thoughts on like how it's being used? Are there ways that it's being used that you don't think is great? Because actually I would argue that right now, it's not necessarily about knowing whether you're using it right or wrong. It's because none of us know, right? It's still very early stages. Campaigns like AI Max, it's not quite fully developed. So someone might have bad performance today, and it's just because of how bad AI Max is working. And
It's
maybe
right
a
now.
year
Yeah.
later, 2 years later, it'll work better. But like, what are your thoughts on how AI Max is being used? And are there ways that you're not liking it, that you're seeing it's being used?
To be honest with you, I feel like it's such a blast from the past because that's what happened. The same thing that happened with Performance Max. It came in, I pushed a lot of clients
Yes.
on it. Half my portfolio made me pause it, and they were like, no, spam, 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 spam. And I'm like, oh, sorry, 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 sorry. Pause. And now it is very mandatorily a part of my portfolio because it now works well. I can
Yeah.
exclude things, I can exclude brands, I can do a lot more with it. It works better. And I think it's the same with AI Max. If I'm being really honest, I tested on one of my clients in the US because they rolled out ads in AI mode in the US first, didn't they? And so I tested on it. Obviously, there were no metrics to report, but it wasn't nice, it wasn't fun. I mean, the this is actually hard to say because this client doesn't have the kind of internal data infrastructure to report back on quality very fast. So
Right.
even though we were seeing a lot of leads come in, we eventually ended up pausing it because they claimed anecdotally that it was spam. But to be honest with you, I'm actually quite keen to test it out. I'm a good believer in test and learn. If you
Yeah.
have a test and learn mindset, just
Yeah.
ring fence a testing budget. You don't
Yeah.
have to take it out of your core campaigns. Just ring fence a testing budget, test it, keep an eye on
Wow.
what your lead quality is looking like, and
Mm-hmm.
then take it from there. But I feel like it's part of the curse of the marketing industry that we run to everything that's shiny.
Mm.
We're like magpies. We we just
Yes.
we just take the
Yes.
shiny bits.
Yeah, and Google doesn't help, and you get all these LinkedIn bros on it, then going major news, major thing.
Major
You need to be doing this for them. You're like, no, you
yeah.
don't.
No, we
They
don't.
don't.
Yeah. And you almost feel like a minority when you say that, even when you're not,
Yeah,
because a lot of people are quiet. But
yeah,
you look at your LinkedIn and I'm like, I refuse to believe that you managed to triple your conversions by running AI Max.
yeah, yeah,
Like it's too early.
yeah,
We all need to collectively as the industry have guinea pig clients with big
yeah,
enough budgets so that
yeah,
Google can then learn from our
yeah,
feedback and then
yeah.
the same way they did with PMax. And then we need the same boat with AI Max. But AI in general, I feel like it's really important for people to remember that, and this is true even beyond marketing, that you will never ever surpass quality checks from a human. Like a
Mm,
human
mm,
quality check will never, ever, ever be not needed.
yeah,
You have to think the strategy. Where does AI Max sit? What is the incremental things? Where does it sit within your entire marketing portfolio? What other parts of AI sort of work in? If you can't do the strategy as a human, then there's only so much that you're going to get a push from.
yeah,
Because, I mean, again, without throwing any shade, the amount of Google rep calls I go on where they're just like, yeah, just turn it on, just turn it on, just turn it on,
yeah.
just turn it on. I'm like, why?
Turn what on? Yeah,
Turn what on?
yeah,
And oh, just turn it on, but just turn off your final URL expansion and your text customization. And I'm like, okay, then what am I getting out of it?
yeah,
What is
yeah,
it? But they're making all the DSAs your AI
yeah,
Max in September
yeah,
anyway, so
yeah, yeah.
we don't have a choice, do we?
No, 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 we've got to be really careful
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
So testing it.
yeah.
What would you also say, what would you like people to stop doing when it comes to like just AI, how people look at AI and how they implement it for their campaigns. Not even just
Yeah.
AI Max, because PM Max
Yeah, just to
technically
be
is
honest,
an AI
it's AI.
tool. Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
are people using these AI capabilities wrong, do you feel?
I think that people are using it wrong, but there are two aspects. I think when you're on either extreme, you're in the wrong. If you're in the extreme of I'm never going to test it because it's going to be bad, then you're going to be behind the curve. And if you're going to test everything at the same time, you will have no idea what you're doing because you will have had no control. And now you've just got the whole account on test. And I think that's, if you open your LinkedIn, at least I feel like that's what happens. You
Yes.
either have people being like, look at this shit campaign type that I'm never going to touch. And people being like, I turned every campaign to AI Max and I
Yes.
supercharged my account.
Yeah.
Be in the middle. I feel like be in
Yeah.
the middle. And that's one of the issues. I think there's a lot of like pressure. And I mean, even if you look beyond paid, you had like this intense, like sort of surge on AI agents. Fire your
Mm.
entire employee base and you have AI agents and you develop them through whatever, software you use now. And then they can just do all your work for you. And you're like, the amount of time it's going to take me to quality check the work produced by these AI
Yeah.
agents is going
Yeah.
to be triple fold
Yes. Yeah.
of. So I feel like people need to sort of like take a step back
Mm.
and use AI or AI capabilities where they're needed. Like, for example, you know how you have Nana Banana Pro in Google now. If you're a small company that struggles to have quality imagery, you don't have a photographer. I have some clients, their budgets are so small.
Mm.
I don't have the space to go to them and be like, give me good creative, because from where? Let's
Yeah.
be real. Not everyone has that kind of budget.
Yeah.
Use it,
Yeah.
build it. If you won't, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Use it,
Yeah.
test it, see where it goes. Because obviously, it will always have the banner of this is AI generated. Of
Yeah.
course, there is an argument that it is not representative of your actual offering because it's a
Yeah.
prompt.
Yeah.
All true. But then you have your website. People will come to your website and then they will use that as your shop front.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to small businesses using those capabilities because if you don't have the budget, we can't just make money fall off trees for you. But like use it where it's going to add value. Don't just use it for AI's sake, just to make a
Yeah.
LinkedIn post that, oh my God, look
Yeah.
at me. I am AI
Yeah.
fluent.
First.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think I've started seeing people wrote, I'm like, written on as their title as I'm like an AI PPC manager or like PPC AI, and you're like, Jesus is Lord. Do you know
I know.
marketing? Do you know about your customers? Is your conversion tracking working? That's all I care about. But no, if you don't have that, I don't care whether you're AI or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
hard ask. To be honest with you, it's a hard ask, but I have seen this sort of move towards within client bases where they almost expect you to speed up your output because you have access to AI. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how this works.
No.
If you
No.
want good quality work that's QA'd and you don't have to feedback on a lot, I
Yeah.
have to do it
Yeah. Yeah.
without using
Yeah.
every bit of my bone
Yeah.
and prompt in ChatGPT.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the biggest way to just lose work. Just being
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
you're just going to throw everything in AI.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
we've all got to be careful. So don't be a
yeah.
person of extremes.
Yes.
Test it. Test it, especially with people with small budgets, but also don't be Mr. AI.
Yeah,
Nobody needs to be Mr. AI and Miss
yeah.
AI on the
No.
internet.
There's no rush. There's no race.
No,
We are not in a
no,
race.
no. And it's learning. Even the AI is still in very much learning phase.
Yes.
So you don't want to do that. And of course,
Yeah.
things will mess up. So you got to be careful about that.
Yeah. 100%.
Simran, that has been such a fantastic chat. I could keep talking to you for another like 40 minutes, an hour, and but yeah, we've got things to do. Who knows?
Yes.
There might be a budget spend going on that needs your eye. So
Gonna
let's
have a
not
look.
let's not keep you from that. But thank you so much for being on the show. But
Of course.
before we leave, our last question, very fun,
Mm,
non-PPC question. If your career, PPC career, were a movie, what would the title be?
that's a good question. That's a good question. And I have to say, I think, okay, I'm going to bring it back to the fact that I had no idea that this was even an industry. So if I did have a PPC career that was a movie, I think the title would be Nobody Told Me This Was a Career.
Nobody told me this was a career. I like that. I like that. And I love the way the explanation of it. And, yeah, it can be, you go to university, you study marketing and you're like, oh, I'll be a marketing
Marketing.
manager. And, and
Yeah.
it's marketing. There's nothing like a paid search, paid media course. at uni, and I hope they've changed that because I think it would be very important for that to be in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never knew this was a career. That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Simran. You've been
Thank you.
such a delight to chat with. If people want to find more about you and any of your musings, you're on LinkedIn, I'd assume.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Any
Yes.
other platforms that you like musing on? No,
No, just LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is the focus. Yeah. And
Yes.
check out Hallam. Hallam clearly
Yes.
have so many fantastic folks
Thank
like
you.
Simran and Maddie, who we spoke to a few months ago. Yeah, there's some great people doing some great work in Nottingham mainly, but with international clients from the sounds of it, which is
Yes.
fantastic. Really good to know. Yeah, on that note, thank you so much, Simran, for being on the show today. And I'm sure,
Amazing.
yeah,
Thank
we'll
you for
connect us.
having me.
My pleasure. My
Absolutely.
absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Simran, for sharing that very honest and transparent experience and just giving us even more than what we've asked for there. Yeah, remember, trust can be rebuilt. There are specific steps. It's not just about, going back to doing what you were doing before and being a good worker, but also think to yourself, the thing they're probably going to be asking about, worrying about now, show them that data regularly to the point where they can be confident that, yeah, you're definitely on top of things. So yeah, for all the information, the full transcript, not just the show notes, please go to podcast.ppc.live. And as usual, thank you at Squire for sponsoring this episode of our PPC Live, the podcast. Remember, at Squire, one of those fantastic agency, a unique agency that helps lawyers to ensure that they are ranking first and ranking well for Google searches. And they were even one of the first, not one of the first, to get their lawyers' ads to rank on Chat GPT. So yeah, if you're a lawyer looking for some Google Ads help, yeah, reach out to them. Yeah, PPC Live events updates. Yeah, our tickets are going away, we're gonna have our fun summer party on July the 29th. Four fantastic speakers, Scott Caruthers, Harriet Fitzgerald, Charlotte Osborne, and Veronica Holler. And we're gonna be talking about, yeah, the future of search in terms of how to do the work, how to prepare for AI Max taking over DSA, how to ensure that you've got the good workflows for pulling Claude, using Claude as a co-worker for your Google Ads account. So yeah, you don't want to miss that. By the time you might be listening to this, early bird sale might have gone away, but if you're listening to this before the 14th of June, you still have the chance for the cheapest rate for the tickets to PPC Live. So yeah, just go to ppc.live to get your tickets so you don't miss out on this fantastic conversation, which will also add a PPC Live unique panel where we will ask you what you want answered, what your issues are before we even get the panel going so that the discussions we have are based on your real time needs. You get involved in the conversation, you share what your wins are, and so that, yeah, you can be part of the growth of our whole industry. So yeah, please definitely go check out ppc.live for your tickets for that fantastic summer show we're going to have. Yeah, and before I leave you, I'm also delighted to share that I am taking on coaching clients. So yeah, if you just need help with building your confidence, building your skills, having the confidence to ask for the pay rise, having the confidence to ask for a new job opportunity, go for that job that you're not sure you're suited for, get in touch with me. Go to the Marketing Anu to book a free 15-minute discovery call so that we know exactly what your needs are. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the show and I look forward to bringing more PPC F-ups and triumphs next week. Thank you. Bye.